All right. There's a chair squeak for you already.
Hey, nothing but professionalism.
Nothing but professionalism here on the 7th episode of the Deserted Gamer podcast. Today, me and Brian will be talking about some multiplayer games and some multiplayer experiences. Because I just had a fun evening with one of our good friends playing some Mario Party, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I won every game. I just want to let the internet know that I won 3 rounds of Mario Party last night, and I'm feeling kind of on top of the world. So we're gonna be here and talk about multiplayer games, you know. And
he's not gonna appreciate you revealing that.
I was gonna say, said friend of ours absolutely watches every episode and every video, and he's gonna click this one, and I'm not gonna tell him what the intro is. He's gonna be really upset. Oh man! Well, you know, one day we'll have to get him in for an episode, and he can defend himself. But for right now, I'm gonna just throw him under the bus. So, anyways, I was thinking about it, and I was kind of thinking about it all day today, thinking about my wins on Mario Party. I was like, I have the N64 stuff for the Switch, and I mainly bought it because I got a big hankering to play Star Fox 64, which is, I believe, only one player at all times. I don't know if there's any kind of multiplayer on Star Fox. And then, other games come up, like Zelda and everything. Some of the single-player stuff, because I'm mostly playing single-player. Mario Kart, of course, I just posted a video about Mario Kart. But I realized, too, last night, we didn't just play Mario Party. We played a lot of games, and we played a lot of N64 games. And I don't think the N64 is, like, an amazing system. I definitely wouldn't put it, like, as, like, a favorite console of all time, though it was the first console I ever played. But whatever, it's definitely not... It definitely doesn't have the diversity and the strength that I would say a lot of other consoles do. But there's something, like, really magical about playing N64 games with another person, and I played some Mario Kart with my sister and with my brother-in-law, and we played some Mario Party 3 together over Christmas, and that was awesome. And I felt like I had more fun doing that than I had even recording the footage for the Mario Kart video, so that was all great. And then last night, me and our esteemed loser at Mario Party friend, we fired up. We fired up some of the other odd N64 games on the Switch Online, particularly Iggy's Wrecking Balls. I know you're a big fan of Iggy's Wrecking Balls, right, Brian? That's a top favorite.
Yeah. Obviously, I didn't even know that was a game.
Exactly. Well, it's got a slapping soundtrack. I'll give you that much.
Of course,
because,
dude. Like every game from that, like you could pull out like some some fucking obscure, like something that nobody knows about, and it's probably got some like amazing soundtrack. Like Mickey Goes to Court, and then it's got like just like wow, the bass in this is fantastic. Like
absolutely, I listened to a lot of like PS1 and N64 era nostalgia mixes for music, and specifically in like the drum and bass and jungle genre, because there's so much of it in the late 90s and in late 90s in gaming. Like even Mario 64, the intro is like a jungle remix of the Mario theme. It's got that like 180 BPM drum lick going, and it's like, dude, this is freaking awesome. And so Iggy's Wrecking Balls, I recognize some of the sounds from the music from that game because I've heard it in the mixes that I listened to, and I'm like, oh, never knew what this game was. Just thought this song slapped. But so it had some great music, and is that a game that I would ever see myself like playing solo and like recording and doing an episode of VGP on? Absolutely not. But I will put some Iggy's Wrecking Ball gameplay over this segment for sure. It's a silly little racer where you are, I guess, wrecking balls, and you're just some like gumdrop looking balls, and you're just like racing around like a cylindrical like track, and you climb up and you dash around, and it was a grand old time. And I was thinking about it a lot after playing that like, man, like the N64 might not be the best console, but there's some charm to it. There really is just some charm to something like that, and it's clear and obvious that the emphasis was on those local multiplayer type nights with that system. Obviously, 4 controller ports and stuff. But anyways, that was my evening, and that's what kind of inspired the me wanting to make this the headlining topic of the episode. So we can go through some more distant memories now, though. You can start us off, B-Dog, with some fun multiplayer memories.
Well, I don't have any friends, so, I'll just plug a controller into the second port and play with my other hand.
Or your feet. Yeah.
Nah.
Or you give it to your cat in hopes that they figure it out.
Just go left! There's some, great... Some great, memory, because, I definitely have, almost, 99.9999999% of the time I play single-player games nowadays.
Yes.
Just because I tend to prefer single-player games.
And because we are sad adults.
Yeah.
We are sad, lonely adults.
Yeah. I also...
Anyways, I'll stop with that bit.
This turns into a therapy session.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you distract yourself from your problems with Xenosaga.
Tell me how you tell me how it feels to wake up every day alone.
Anyway. Well, we won't do that on this episode. Yeah. Maybe the next one. Because February. Hey, February would be the next one. Perfect.
Yeah. Coldest month, just to represent the coldness of the other side of my bed.
Oh my God, Brian. I was thinking more Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. You know how I'm going to spend my Valentine's Day?
Playing Xenosaga?
Nope. Trails Through Daybreak 2 releases. So
I'll be taking
playing the shit out of that.
I'll be taking my girlfriend on a date. Look at me! I win at Mario Party, and I have a
committed
relationship. I'm just on top of the world today, Brian.
Yeah.
Anyways,
what were we fucking talking about? Multiplayer games.
But
right?
Anyway,
yeah.
Give me some of your favorite multiplayer experiences. Despite the coldness of the other side of your
it's I'm trying to think of specific one, because I remember when I was younger, anytime you play games with friends and stuff, it was typically multiplayer, co-op campaigns. I still haven't played Halo 3 single player, by myself. I experienced that whole game in a co-op campaign with one of the kids in my neighborhood, and then stuff because I mentioned this on an earlier episode, where the first console I had was my dad's Sega Genesis.
Yeah, so you got some good co-op gaming experiences with your dad.
Yeah, obviously, well, not just my dad, with my brother, with some of my friends who come over. I still think, one of the first games I ever played is either, the first game I ever played is either Sonic, the first Sonic, or Mortal Kombat. And...
Yeah, well, there you go. Multiplayer.
Loved Mortal Kombat on the Genesis. Yeah. I mentioned before my favorite Genesis game, because I played it co-op with my brother and some of my friends, is the Double Dragons Battletoads.
Yeah, dude. And that's one of my favorite games ever, just on the SNES, because I played it with my one friend, had older cousins. They gave him all their SNES games, and they had that one. So there you go. Yep.
Yeah, and it's that game. So I think, co-op was great, but also, obviously, LAN parties with Call of Duty and all that, and we can talk about Call of Duty for the 8th time. Are both our overlapping Call of Duty eras.
It's so funny because we both talk about completely different eras of games, and then the thing that we are bonded on is COD.
Fucking Black Ops. It's zombies, dude. Just the couch co-op, multiplayer.
Oh, yes. I could go on and on. When I said multiplayer games, I was like, all right, so the first 10 minutes will be about the N64, and then the last hour and a half will be about Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Dude, so much... all their Call of Duty was so much fun, with couch co-op. So many times, sleeping over at a friend's house and just, going, trying to see how far you could get in zombies.
Of course. I was so anal about stuff that I'd be like, we are not doing split screen multiplayer. You bring your own TV to my house, and we will hook them both up, and we will both play on Xbox Live on the same, Wi-Fi.
Because then you miss the whole like that one friend that you have that's always fucking looking at somebody else's screen.
Yeah, no, I was not about to be doing all that. No, I was like, we're not doing none of that cheating shit. You bring your own TV to my house.
That was part of the experience, though. Was getting pissed off at your friend because he always knew where you were, and you catch him looking at your part of the screen, and you're like, hey!
Yeah, no, and then you put the TVs, so you have the two TVs, and then you put them back to back, and then you play across the table from each other, so nobody's looking. And, we would just queue up. I more so wanted people to bring over their own TVs when we would play multiplayer together because, we were like a little sweaty about it at times. And if we were just like screwing around playing zombies or like doing like World at War co-op campaign, it's fine on the same screen. But when it comes time for like queuing up lobbies and multiplayer, like, nah, dog, bring your own console because you've got your own Xbox Live account on there anyway. So, you got your own loadouts and all that stuff. So it was always
so fun. Oh, sorry. It was always so fun to play as the guest one, have to make a new guest.
Yeah, and start from level 1.
Modern Warfare 2, start from level 1 and shit. That was great.
Break out the old MP5K.
You have to level up to get the intervention, so you can do a fucking duel on Rust.
Yeah, exactly. Scope. It's like, oh, hang on. My guest account needs to be leveled up before we can actually do the thing that we want to do. Like, no, this is why I just told people to just bring their own stuff because after I would say I had like 3 or 4 years where like COD was just the dominant game in my life, and after like year 1 of that, it's like, all right, guys, no more messing around. Like, you're sleeping over, you're bringing your setup. Put your Xbox in your backpack. Take out your homework that you didn't do. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
What's funny is that like even though I was like a big COD kid, I actually like wasn't like what I think like the stereotypical COD player, at the time, where it was like, I don't even touch the campaign. I just start playing multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
I always loved the campaigns for COD. Like, that was like the first thing I would always do. I wouldn't even fucking touch multiplayer or zombies until I finished the campaign.
The first 2 that I didn't touch the campaign on until later were MW3 and Black Ops 2. And I wish I had played both of those earlier, but I was always very...
Black Ops 2's campaign.
A lot of you go to Sets of Fires for that opinion, because I'm like, I always think about that. I'm like, everybody on the internet loves the Black Ops 2 campaign except for this man sitting across from me in the Discord chat right now. But
across from you, across states.
Yeah, across from me digitally. But anyway, so and I mean, Modern Warfare 3 has a pretty cool campaign too. I did play them eventually, but. Those were the 2 midnight launches that I went to and stuff. So that was like when it was fully cemented, like, oh, this is a multiplayer game for me. Whereas when I was getting into the series with like COD 4 through Black Ops 1, basically, I played the campaign mostly, and I have a great story that I want to tell in full when I do eventually do a big COD retrospective on the channel. And it's that I was hesitant to like the series because I was like a contrarian kid or whatever, and I was like, I don't want to play this popular game, whatever, but I had heard so much praise for COD 4. Eventually I got curious enough about it, and I remember playing it over at a friend's house. And of course, he starts me on the campaign. He's not like, oh, let's just throw you into multiplayer. I was like, no, like, let's start with campaign and FNG, COD 4, like, let's go, like, learn the ropes and everything. And I played through, like, the whole COD 4 campaign before I ever touched multiplayer. And I honestly got the games at first to play their campaigns. Eventually, multiplayer took over eventually. But I totally agree. Yeah.
It's like those campaigns, especially a lot of the older COD games, like the height of COD's like.
When I say COD, I mean COD 4 through Black Ops 2. That is the era. Like it ended at Ghosts for me, and it ended on the 360. And I know like Ghosts and stuff was still on the 360, but that was the first one on the PS4. And so for me, it was
PS4.
Yeah, Ghost is on PS4.
Damn.
It came out like
PlayStation 3.
Yeah, Ghost came out like a few days before the PS4, so it was technically like a launch title for PS4. But Ghost is also on the Wii U.
Yeah, it's like, like Call of Duty at its like fucking peak. You know, like Modern Warfare to Black Ops 2, which even though I don't like Black Ops 2's campaign, the multiplayer of Black Ops 2 is fucking phenomenal.
It's excellent. The Pick 10 system is just so good. All the kill streaks are so fun. I mean, gosh, I will still fire that game up against bots every now and then because
that Black Ops 2's multiplayer is definitely one of the best. But those campaigns for like from Modern Warfare up to I guess Modern Warfare 3 as well, really.
Yeah.
They were really good. Like I still remember in Modern Warfare 2, and this wasn't something that hit me until I replayed the game recently in like the remastered version.
Oh, nice.
And it really hit me how like fucking impressive the like not really the set pieces, but like the shocking kind of thing, especially as like an American player, you know, because typically you always like, I mean, you're never fighting on the home front whenever you're playing as the Americans in something, right? You got to be attacking some other country.
No, but they like bombed the Capitol building.
Yeah, they bombed the cap. But like the part that I still remember, because like, or not still remember, but the part that like that when I was playing, I was like, man, that is such a good way to do this. Is when the first thing like the first mission in the States happens, and you're like it's like that whole like section, like cutscene section at the beginning of like you know,
I think I know what you're gonna say, but keep going.
Like, you know, like they have like the briefing or whatever, right? Like it is like
yes,
we gotta go to freaking this place in Russia and beat these guys. Like
yeah.
For that one, instead of having the briefing, it's the emergency broadcast system.
And there's
like the American, and then it's just like you just hear like the dun 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 with like the fucking rainbow thing on the screen, and then the mission opens up and you're in the like RV or whatever, not RV.
Yep.
Sorry, the Humvee. And you're just going through just this generic suburban area in Virginia, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, Burger Town or whatever.
Oh, Burger Town, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? You're literally like walking around like a suburb, and it's like
Tango's in the Burger Town.
Yeah, it's. I'm just thinking about it. I haven't played that campaign. I actually played that campaign about a year ago. I haven't played it since then, and that is the only one that I have beaten on veteran. Is Modern Warfare 2, and gosh, it is just. That is such a phenomenal campaign, and I didn't even really think about like the impact of all that. But I will tell you this: when I was a kid playing that game, and they have like the missions in the U.S. and they talk about like not drones, but they talk about like aircraft being over I-95, and they talk about that. And you know, given that we're from the Philadelphia area, I'm like. Oh my God, like I-95, like I know what that is, it's not just like, oh, somewhere in Ukraine, like whatever, I'm 13, I don't care, where even is that? When they're talking about like bombings over I-95, you're like, oh my God, this is my hometown, like it hits hard. And those missions when you are the Rangers, like they are really, really kind of dark,
especially like in that one where you're in that same one, like the first one in the States with the Burger Town, and you're like walking through all the backyards, and you see all the paratroopers coming down like in the distance, and it's like holy shit. It's like that stuff, or like the stuff like after the EMP and everything. Like that game is so many great, and it's I don't like as a kid, I was just like, oh, it's action and stuff. Like I don't really think, and I'm not gonna say like Call of Duty's fucking anti-war or something, but I do think it does like a good job of like framing war as like not a great thing, like
yes, well, especially like World at War is such like a like gritty retelling of World War II, and some like World War II media, including the game called Call of Duty World War II from 2017, some World War II media I feel is a little too like triumphant because like yes, the good guys won. Like, yes, we beat the Nazis, right? Yeah. But how we got there was so horrific. And COD World at War, I've always highlighted as a great piece of media that, is like got that like kind of historical fiction thing going for it. And it feels like reading a Tim O'Brien book, and I know he wrote about Vietnam, but it's really like, well, then you could maybe make the case for Black Ops, but they're really gritty retellings of the wars and stuff, and they do a really good job at not being too triumphant. Then that got completely lost, obviously, as the series continued, because COD World War II on the PS4 is a triumphant World War II game, It's overly celebratory, if you will.
Yeah. No, and it's like, and I mean, on that World War point, the fucking Reznov's line with "we'll take it to their land, their people, their blood." And it's like, shit, this is getting dark.
And everybody loves Victor Reznov, and I mean he's such a great character. He's such a well done character.
It's like, and I think like on that point of like that thing, like, and I think like especially for like like an American kid, and it didn't really hit me as much until like again like as I got older and I analyzed it. It's like that's such a shocking way of being like I said, like typically when you're playing as like the Americans in something, you're in another nation, like that moment of, because like you're typically as the Americans, you're like typically the attackers, it's typically like triumphant, like you're the heroes going in, even though track record for that historically isn't too great, but like that moment is such like a great like moment of like, hey, like this shit can happen to anybody. Right, and it's never good when it happens, and I think like it's such a great way of doing that without like the fucking what's his name Sergeant whatever turning to the screen and being like Sergeant war's Foley. Bad kids. Yes, Sergeant Foley. Was that Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 1?
Sergeant Foley's in Modern Warfare 2. The African American gentleman, right? Yeah. He's the guy who does the welcome to Pull the Trigger 101. Get some frag grenades. Anyway,
he's I'm pretty sure it's oh my god, what's his voice actor's name? He's in so much shit. He's Anderson from Mass Effect. He voices like everybody. Like I've never realized how ubiquitous his voice was until like I was playing it.
Voices Sergeant Foley in MW2. Keith David, yeah, he's so like ubiquitous for like stuff like media for like fiction stuff when we were growing up. Like I like look back and I'm like, man, this guy voiced did everything. Yeah. So, anyways, I want to mention another story too with Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. This is actually a really powerful story, and this is totally going to be in this video. This is like the first time that I felt like true nostalgia, right? So. As I mentioned, for me, the era of COD is really COD 4 through Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 came out when we were in early high school, right? So for all of like late high school, that's when I had kind of my RPG kick, and that's when I really abandoned COD and was just playing a lot more retro games. And
I don't want to play with you anymore.
I really did. I did do the Andy and Toy Story 2 moment, and throw Call of Duty to the wayside like that. And so I didn't play it for like 3-4 years, and then I went to college and everything, and the first semester is very hard, and so I came back for that first winter break, and I remember I just got this I had this weird craving to play like a first person shooter. Like I hadn't had that in a long time, and I owned Killzone 2 and 3 for the PS3, which. If you've played them, I mean, they're fine games by all means. Yeah. Especially, I have some great memories with Killzone 3.
Is that? Oh, never mind. Sorry. I just answered my own question in my head. I was going to ask if that was the one that Insomniac did, but no, that was Resistance. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, the other PlayStation shooter. Yeah. Killzone 3, I have a lot of good memories with the multiplayer, which we can tell in this episode. But anyway,
nice.
I fired up Killzone 2 or 3, and the problem with them is that they are so weighty, and that was the point. I get it. That was the gimmick of the game, was that you're supposed to feel that you're carrying all that shit, right? Yeah. It's a very heavy, slow game. It
Yeah,
is
you shoot a
not
gun and
like
the bullet drops immediately. And you're like, what the fuck?
basically. Are we on Jupiter? But anyway, it kind of feels like that, honestly. So anyway, it's a very heavy feeling game, and it's very slow and slow paced compared to Call of Duty. And I just like was like, you know what, this ain't doing it. And so I think I like downloaded Modern Warfare 2 like on an impulse from the PlayStation Store, and I was like, gosh, I just for some reason like this just it just like overcame me. Like I just need to play Modern Warfare 2 now, and it like I hadn't felt that in like 5 years at that point, you know, and I fired up the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and you know how first of all the intro that theme is Hans Zimmer. Other folks worked on other songs in that game, but that opening cutscene is Hans Zimmer. And the opening cutscene for Modern Warfare 2 is a recap of COD 4 with this, like, just fucking incredibly epic song playing in the background. And I was just like,
and you
I
hear
just
the
had
fucking
this
gunshot as it shoots Zakayev.
Yes, exactly. And then does that 5 years later, you know, whatever, right? And so, and when they do that, you know, when the missile goes off in COD 4 and everything, you know, there's all that, right? They recap all that good stuff with that theme going, and just me watching that again for the first time. So at that point, I'm like 19, and I hadn't seen that since I was like 14, you know, and so literally it's like 5 years later, and just seeing that, I had never felt that yet. You know, because I was like, you know, you're 19, you're still pretty dang young. Like, you don't, like, miss your childhood yet. But that was after leaving home for, like, the first time, you know, that first semester in college. And I came back and was playing it in my childhood bedroom. And, you know, I had felt like I had left. And so I really got that, just that humongous first ever, like, big wave of nostalgia during that Modern Warfare 2 opening cutscene. So awesome game. And I put it on a pedestal because of that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it is the best. I mean, in terms of just... I probably think, like, all around it's probably the best Call of Duty game. Because, like, the multiplayer's amazing. I think it's got the best campaign. And Spec Ops, even though it's not as good as Zombies, is still really fun.
Spec Ops is really unique. It's really fun. Those missions are so damn hard. So I have, like, 70% of the trophies. Because I did beat it.
I legit, the only trophy I don't have is finishing all the Spec Ops missions because I'm missing the ones where you need 2 players. And none of my friends wanted to do them with me to get the all 3 stars or whatever.
Star 69.
Yeah.
That's the name of the trophy. I know, Brian. It haunts me, all right?
Yeah, it's annoying. And I wanted to do a quick aside because we're going to get back to Call of Duty because I had something else to mention about it. But when you mentioned nostalgia... I don't remember when my first thing of nostalgia was, but I remember like the most intense I've ever had was it was like around the time maybe I think I was a senior in high school. You know, I went to a Catholic school. I'm not I was Catholic then. I'm not Catholic now. I'm very much I'm more agnostic. But anyway, so like for that you had to do like volunteer hours.
Yes.
And
I went to public school and had to do that too, so don't worry. But
I don't know.
Yes,
I thought
had
it was some Catholic school thing because they framed it as that.
I mean, it probably is.
Yeah. Anyway, the most fun I had volunteering was Philadelphia Marathon. I volunteered as like the guy who like holds the water for people. That shit was so fun. That was some of the most fun I've ever had volunteering. Was the 2 years I did that. Even though the second year was cold as shit.
As it tends to be.
Yeah, it was because it's like we were in that area in Philly. I forget what street it is, man. But it was like it was right by the Insomnia cookies and shit.
Like the original one.
I possibly I don't know, but they
like near Penn. Yeah.
It was like up a hill and like all the buildings formed like this wind tunnel, and it was freezing that one year. But yeah, that was probably the most fun I had. But anyway, the nostalgia one was I actually volunteered at my my grade school because I also went to a Catholic grade school, which is they don't split up elementary and middle school, so you were there from kindergarten through 8th grade. And I had I'd been back there for I've been back to the gym because we had this thing that like for CYO, which was the Catholic youth organization or whatever the hell.
I know all
sports
about
thing.
it, dog.
Yeah.
I know all about it. I'm
explaining it to everybody else.
As a good Philadelphian child, I know all the Catholic kid stuff. I was not a Catholic kid, but I know all about it. Yeah.
But for like basketball and sports and stuff, like typically that stops 8th grade. Like that's for like 8th grade and stuff. But a lot of the coaches, because my dad was one of the coaches, and like a lot of the other coaches were like, for some of the students who like, for some of the kids like who were in high school who still wanted to play sports and stuff but didn't want to do it, like they didn't want to like try out for like high school teams and all that because they didn't want to take it like too seriously. They like made like another like a pretty much like a high school league for CYO, like if enough teams and enough players wanted to do it. So like I would be there for high school, like at the gym and stuff, at a like basketball gym, playing like that kind of stuff, and that was probably some of the most fun I've ever had, like playing sports, because there wasn't like that competitiveness of like you go to a different school than me, so I hate you. Like it was like that. It was like that. Like I still remember this. Like I would like shoot someone, like airball it, and then some kid on the other bench would be like, "Nice shot, Brian." I'd be like, "Shut up! I'll see you in math class."
So this is multiplayer IRL. What's this got to do with COD?
But yeah, like the first. So I've been to the gym a lot and all that, and to the church,
right?
Because that was back when I was still a good children of God, a good child of Jesus. But the
this video.
But I had never been like in the school building since like my 8th grade, like my last like 8th grade class.
That'll do you.
Yeah,
that'll do you dirty. Yeah,
I was like in the cafeteria, like helping out with something, like volunteering for something. And I still remember it was like late in the night. It was like kind of like dark. It was dark outside, and I still remember I was like, you know what, like before I leave, I'm gonna take a walk around the school because like nobody's here. Why not, right?
Man.
I still remember like it didn't really hit me until I like went upstairs, because like from the way my school worked was like it was like kindergarten and first grade are on the first floor. Oh, I'm sorry, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade are on the first floor, and then 3rd grade through 8th grade were the second floor. And it didn't really hit me until I went up to the second floor and I saw my 8th grade classroom, and I saw the bathroom that was right next to it, and I was like, holy shit. Like it was like I had like full on memories.
Is that the first place you ever hit a vape?
No, I don't think vapes were like a thing.
They weren't. That's why it's.
We were in 8th grade. All right.
Eighth. They were not. Vapes did not exist. Vapes didn't exist until we were in like college.
Yeah. And like
it was like 8th grade bathroom.
Yeah, maybe the 8th grade bathroom. No, it was just you were kids giving you purple nurples at the urinal.
Yeah, that was more of what our generation did, huh? Yeah.
And you're like, hey, But yeah, like I was like walking down that hallway and like looking into the classrooms and stuff, and I was like, holy shit, dude! Like that was like one of the first. That was like probably the hardest I've ever been hit with like nostalgia. Like I had like flashbacks. Yeah, like it was like vivid memories. I was like, I like forgot that I did this.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what that would be like. So during COVID, I was still at my childhood house. I was just hanging out there for a while because not much to do, and I would take walks and go on runs because like I said, it was COVID. What else did you do? And I would walk past like my high school and middle school all the time because it was just like a good loop if I did that, right? And it was definitely a little bit intentional too to get that like nostalgia hit by like being like outside of the school. But I have not been in any of my schools, gosh, in close to 10 years, and my elementary school is on the ground. I have a brick from my elementary school in my house. Like it's demolished, and so I will never get to see that again. And then, but my middle school and high school and my preschool are all still standing because my preschool is a church, and so they're all still standing. But I have not been in like the high school forever, and I could not imagine what it would be like to just walk around my high school. Like, and that's so cool that you're telling it like at night and stuff. Like, I have such an appreciation for that. Like it being late at night and you're like the only person in there, and it's just like got that eerie like school after dark like feeling, and you're just like
it was like you know? it was like you know like when in like games or like in movies and stuff when like the one person is like fucking walking through something and it's kind of like all quiet and stuff, but then they hear the voices of like echoes of like memories in their head. That's kind of what it was like legitimately. Yes.
Yeah,
totally. I'd like hear the fucking because we had to wear these like Skechers loafers and shit. I could hear them like fucking screeching on the floor and shit, and like the people like dropping pencils and shit. It was insane. And because enough time has passed. If I went back to my high school, I probably have like the same moment.
Yeah, exactly. I went back like once or twice when I was like early college, just to like say hi to some of my teachers, you know, and that was like it. Like I went back like, you know, like I said, like one or two times, and just to be like, hey, look at me, I'm in college, lol, you know, one of those dorks. But I'll explain it in that we had a very small high school and we were very tight knit, and we had a lot of the teachers. Like I had some teachers for all 4 years, and some even since middle school, and then went up into high school with me. And so, you know, these are people who were like, you know, a second family at that point. So like, yes, you go back and see them. I know for people, anyone watching who went to like a big high school, you're probably like, what the hell? But it's something that people did in my hometown for sure. But you don't do it.
Visiting high schools, like, you know, that was always a thing. And I like thought about doing that, but a lot of like the teachers that I had that I was like kind of close with, they either like they moved to like other schools and stuff. So I was like, I don't know, there were still some teachers there who I would have liked to see and everything, but I was like, I don't want to just show up. I feel awkward.
Yeah,
of just like being like, hey.
Well, my thing is, nobody did it though. Once you're in like your like third or fourth semester, you never.
Oh yeah,
you only did it.
It was a freshman sophomore year thing.
Like, yep. Yeah, you never did it once you became a real adult.
Like, as soon as you became a junior, you were like, fuck that shit. Like,
absolutely.
Unless you want to have a good time, you wear like a shirt that says like fucking smoke grass, eat ass, like that kind of shit.
And wear that into your high school and go to jail. Go to jail. But
then you just
anyways,
do drugs and then you leave.
Yeah, so you know the whole. I mean, obviously we're just nostalgic motherfuckers in general, but you know, so obviously we got kind of way off the video game chat, but it all kind of ties together, you know, because like COD like reminds me of, you know, like those times and stuff, and
early high school and shit, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's Call of Duty for me, and that's, you know, and I mean, hell, the holiday season just passed, and I hadn't been to my hometown in, you know, almost 2 years, and so just seeing my hometown again, it was pretty cool, and you know. So, anyways, other
back
favorite multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back to COD.
Yeah, I do want to mention
multiplayer games. Okay. Go ahead. You have something else to say about COD? Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, even though like the older Call of Duties are just like way better, like single player. I'm talking about single player. Even though the older Call of Duties are just way better. Like again, like at that height of like first Modern Warfare up to like Modern Warfare 3. Really, for me, I know a lot of people say Black Ops 2. That's a whole nother discussion, a whole nother can of worms. But
that's a whole episode right there where I just yell at you for an hour. But anyway,
I do like have to like there are some like legitimately like good campaigns from like some of the newer Call of Duty games. Like I personally really liked Infinite Warfare. I thought that shit was so
I knew that was coming up. I knew that was it. I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, like that shit, because it was so different. Like the way it was structured, I was like, this is a lot of fun. Like the story's not great, but it's fun.
COD in space, man. A lot of people dug it. You know, and the like, multiplayer was like the worst ever, but people really liked the campaign. Yeah,
yeah, like that one. I still like certain like missions and stuff from World War II. Like I love that one where you're playing as the like the French Liberation Army lady, and like she's like in that like Nazi compound thing, and she's got to like sneak around and shit. Love that mission. And in a similar vein, I really love Black Ops Cold War. I think it's one of the better ones
Oh
in the new
yeah,
ones.
a lot of people like that one
Yeah,
too.
and the one mission that I always will fucking think about is the one where you're in like the KGB headquarters.
Yeah,
that shit is so good.
So
like, anyway, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And Black Ops Cold War was actually the last AAA game that I ever played. Fun fact, it's the last game that I was ever like hyped for. Obviously, I am super hyped for that Xenoblade X remake, but
hey,
anyways.
It's not even AAA, but hey.
Yeah, that's like a single A game. But anyway, maybe double, but
yeah.
Anyways, I quite enjoyed Black Ops Cold War. Yeah, whatever, like Black Ops 5, whatever. So I had some good multiplayer experience with that. And World War II, I know that we're, dunking on the campaign a little bit, but me and my college roommates, we got kind of all pretty nostalgic for COD around that same time.
Mm-hmm.
I told the story about Modern Warfare 2, and that kind of led me to go back on a kick of being interested in Call of Duty. And when I found out, when me and those roommates of mine found out that, like, oh, COD's going back to World War II, because this was still in the era where it was all futuristic. We're like, okay, the next COD's going to be a World War II game. It's going to be boots on the ground. Like, let's just get it. Let's get it. And so,
that was the same thing. That was the first Call of Duty game I played since Ghost. Was World War II.
Yep, and for me since Black Ops 2, yeah. So we were like 1 year separated there, and then we took breaks, and then boom, back on it.
Completely after like the 1-2 punch for me of like not liking Black Ops 2's campaign, and then all of Ghost just being awful. I was like,
I have played Ghost's campaign. If you look on my PlayStation account, I do have the trophies for it. I don't remember a thing about it other than the stupid dog. So anyway,
so bad, dude. It's so bad.
Yep. And then anyway, so we got World War II, and that game was beyond frustrating, and the skill-based matchmaking ruins it and everything, but I still had a ton of fun, and I have a ton of great memories playing that game with those guys. And despite the game's shortcomings, I know it had a lot of shortcomings, we still had a lot of fun with that one. And then one of those roommates of mine also was invested in Cold War. And by the time Cold War came out, we had graduated college. But me and him would get on like phone calls and like play some Cold War together.
Yeah.
And I was still like doing like the COD grind a little bit. But I never got Black Ops 6, and I don't really care. I don't have the time for that anymore.
I might get it.
Cold War was
that last
bastion of time.
Yeah, I've been going through this thing where I wanted to play every main series like Call of Duty campaign, and the only one I've skipped since then, like after playing through all of them, is the Modern Warfare 3 reboot one, because I've heard that one is just fucking awful.
Have you played Vanguard?
Yeah, Vanguard's honestly, I can't.
I've heard that's terrible.
The story is awful, but the actual like gameplay and stuff is actually pretty fun because like each character plays differently. And I actually thought that was pretty neat. Like
isn't Vanguard? Vanguard's the one with the lady who's like, I see Nazis, I kill Nazis.
Possibly, yeah. It's Laura Bailey with a Russian accent. It's just a little weird. It's like, but I legitimately like I had fun playing that game. Like it actually like has some really good like gameplay. At least the campaign does. I cannot speak on the multiplayer. Didn't even touch that. That was one of those games where I'm like, this shit's 100 gigabytes. I'm playing the campaign. I'm deleting it off my fucking PlayStation. And I might get Black Ops 6 because that, and I want to see fucking Call of Duty Bill Clinton. That'd be funny.
Well, and I'll tell you this: the worst one then for you is Black Ops 4.
Oh yeah, no, Black Ops 4 and
campaign.
Warzone are the two that don't have campaigns. The two main series when they don't have campaigns.
Yep.
And then I fucking hate how every Infinity Ward one, if you download it, it's like you gotta download this other thing that's 60 gigabytes in addition to the 100 gigabytes you already downloaded, and then you download it. It's like it's a new Warzone update. It's like I didn't buy Warzone, okay? I bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the reboot. Didn't buy Warzone. They don't even want to touch Warzone. So why are you update? This is a very minor thing, and I understand that. This part's like a minor thing, but I hate how it updates the fucking icon to be like Call of Duty Warzone. No. I want to play Modern Warfare 2.
You're not playing Warzone. I hear you.
Yeah. But it's like it's that stuff, and then like you can't even access Modern Warfare 2 without updating the Warzone update. And it's like, why? that's just for Warzone. It doesn't even touch Modern Warfare 2. I want to play the campaign. Like I bought the disc. The game is on the disc. Like I've downloaded the game already, and now you want me to download an update for Warzone before I can even fucking touch the campaign?
So what happens then when they pull the plug on Warzone? Like this is what I mean by like stupid. Game preservation and like, you know, the whole like racket that I have going on my channel.
Yeah,
you know, it's like the whole kind of a big part of the inspiration for that channel is because I have so many amazing memories with Call of Duty Multiplayer, and it's all so ephemeral. You know, Call of Duty Multiplayer at its peak, it's gone. You know, it's ephemeral media, and it's always been very upsetting to me in that way because, you know, I get those like blasts of nostalgia like that from like, you know, Modern Warfare 2's campaign and everything, and I'm like, this is great, but can I please break out the FAMAS on high rise and start shooting across the whole map? Like, can I please get that part of that back? You know, but that's just like
I think you can't do it. Like some people say something like, because I think it's a bunch of different factors, right? Because some people say like, oh, Call of Duty's still like good, or it's still like it's gotten better, like multiplayer wise and stuff, and it's like, okay, but like it's different. Like it's not the same. Like I still think like they've tried to push for like a more competitive, streamlined approach because it's
with skill-based matchmaking.
Not just that, but I feel like the sort of like conversation, not really conversation, like the whole relationship gamers have with multiplayer is different. Like because like before it wasn't as like competitive. Like you didn't have like sure, like people were like, man, you can make money off of Call of Duty by doing quick shot compilations on YouTube, like that kind of shit. But like that was like the most, like you didn't have people doing really, like sure there would sometimes be like tournaments and stuff, but it was really rare.
The esports scene was way less than it is now.
And now it's like with like not even just like tournaments and stuff, but also like people on like Twitch, like streaming and stuff. Like it's so much more involved now. It doesn't have
none
the
of that
same
stuff
like
was really
it doesn't have the same like goof, like because before it was, I don't want to say pure, like that's a little too much, but like I don't
ain't
know,
nothing pure about Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, it didn't have that same like oh, I gotta up my KD ratio. Like it had like a bit more of like I don't know, like it was a bit more fun. Like,
yes,
a bit more relaxed.
I agree.
And like obviously, like I say relax, and then people are like, "Those Modern Warfare 2 kids these days want to survive the Modern Warfare 2 lobbies." It's like, shut up, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, people were like ruthless and mean and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah, no, there was some awful shit that happened in those lobbies, but I mean, like to the extent of like I don't know, like you can't like the dolphin diving and shit, or like just like the goofy shit that was in like those some like the goofier quirks of like those games and stuff are kind of just like not there anymore.
Well, like how ridiculous Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer was. Like Dead Man's Hand. Do you remember that shit?
Possibly.
Do you remember what that was? Okay, they had ridiculous death streaks in Modern Warfare 3. One of them was called Dead Man's Hand, which was often referred to as the pocket nuke, because you would go down, and instead of going down into like, you know, like Second Chance or like Final Stand with your pistol, you went down with C4 and you could blow yourself up, and it was so excessive, and like
that's so
you could
funny.
You would go down near like a red barrel, and if you blew up and then blew up a bunch of red barrels in a car, I mean, you could get like a 4-piece like off of Dead Man's Hand, and it's just so ridiculous. And it made people so mad, of course, and so they don't do it anymore. But like, they put just ridiculous crap in those games, and it was like, because it's not that serious. And I just remember watching videos of people running around. They would put on a riot shield and Dead Man's Hand.
Like
get
that
on
kind
the
of
death streak. Yes,
that's
just
so
stupid
funny.
Shit, you know.
It's like stuff like that, or like we talked about this. I think it was last episode, or the episode before, where it was the one game from, I think it was Modern Warfare 3. It was like Infected or Infection or something.
Oh yeah, which it is a Halo mode.
Yeah,
but yes.
One of the funniest things about that, I actually think it was Modern Warfare 2, because one of the funniest things about that, I think it was both, but in Modern Warfare 2 with the tactical nuke kill streak, because the other side could easily get that, because you know you're killing immortal enemies pretty much just that keep
Right.
respawning and stuff, and you have to stay alive. So by the end, you're gonna rack up a 25 kill streak. And what's so
Right.
funny is the way it's kind of programmed is the nuke kills the enemy team, and it's supposed to be victory for the other team. But with infected, it legitimately the game doesn't end until the timer is up for the people trying to survive or everybody's infected. So
Right.
the tactical nuke doesn't work. So then you just have this.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Everybody dies except the team because it doesn't kill your team, even though that's not how a nuke works. But whatever. And everything is fucking green. You're just playing in the After Effects, and it's so fun. It's got like you can't even see 2 feet in front of you. It's so funny.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, really, really good times. And lo and behold, we have, like I said, we've talked about the N64 for 10 minutes, and we're now going on about 40 minutes of COD.
I think 20 minutes of that was us reminiscing about just random shit. Like that wasn't
about
even
high
video
school
game related.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, man, it's a podcast. Like, what are you gonna do? So, and like I said, it all kind of ties together because we're nostalgic about high school and middle school and stuff because of the games that we played during that.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh man, I really miss being in high school bio. Like, yep, I sure do. Like it's I miss going to like my like bio class and then coming home and playing Black Ops 2 and those like I said, Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 were the only 2 midnight launches I ever went to, and like my like dad like took me because he knew it was so important to me and let me stay up on a school night like that and everything.
Oh, I remember those kids who would fucking take off the next day.
Yeah,
COD or something.
Yeah, well, and I remember Modern Warfare 3 came out the day before Election Day, and because, public school kid over here whose school was used as a polling place, we got Election Day off. Yep. We got Election Day off, and so Modern Warfare 3 comes out.
Want you to vote.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the Bible.
I'm sure it is.
I love making that joke. Sorry.
Anyway,
it's such like a thing with some of my other friends who also went to Catholic school. I'm just like some random shit. I'm like, it's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. But that's funny. But anyways, I had the day off when Modern Warfare 3 came out. Did not have the day off when Black Ops 2 came out. Still went to school. And I'll tell you this. I have another very funny memory of going to school the next day, being like, feeling like I could not, like I was floating around in the hallways because I was so sleep deprived.
Oh yeah.
And being so sleep deprived, I go into my English class, and there's this kid who's like, he's like all like upset about something, right? And I hear the discussion, and the teacher was even getting involved in this. I hear that this kid wanted Black Ops 2 so badly. Like he wanted it so badly. But like his like parents like wouldn't take him at midnight or something or whatever. And he was just like, I gotta get home and go buy the game. He was like so uppity about needing to go home and get Black Ops 2. I strut into class with giant bags under my eyes, and I'm like, I got that shit last night. And like, I remember the teacher being like, oh, so you got the game last night and he wants the same game, like asking us to like clarify like what was even going on in this like discussion. And oh my God, man, it's just like, yeah, totally. I'm like, yeah, man, it's so fun. We were playing zombies all night, just being a dick.
We're just like, man, you should play it. Oh wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. So it's just phenomenal memories. But and obviously, so I went with some friends too, and of course we played multiplayer all night, and so it was like 3 of us that were like in school the next day, and we felt like we were just like the hottest shit on earth, like just like, oh, we're the 3 dudes in like this whole district that got that game. At midnight, like we're the 3 dudes because I had a cool dad who took us all, and and we went all at midnight. So yeah.
Yeah, I still remember. This is such a weird memory because I mentioned this in another episode. I think it was the last episode or 2 episodes ago. I mentioned how Modern Warfare 3. I legitimately think Modern Warfare 3's campaign is cursed for me
Where like
Oh yeah, because like
every
you
time
always
I
have like
beat a family member's in like a life-threatening situation afterwards.
That's terrible.
The first time I beat it, my brother had appendicitis.
Oh my gosh.
And like I think they found like he's fine now. Like he's good now. But
good.
It was after that, and I still remember I was in the waiting room at like the ER at like the hospital, and there was a guy sitting next to me, and he was with his girlfriend or his wife or something. And I still remember the girl was like, his girlfriend or his wife was just like something like, we have to go to church tomorrow because it was a Saturday. And and he goes, oh, you have to go to church tomorrow. I'm going to be staying home playing Modern Warfare 3.
Amazing.
And I just remember that, and I'll be
so
like,
funny.
I just, like, that memory, that was so good. Yeah,
That's incredible.
There's also something I want to talk about. It might be cheating for the topic, but I wanted to ask you about this. Did you also have like things where like you would go over to a friend's house and you'd like kind of like take turns playing like a single player game?
Well, so if we go back to the very beginning of the COD discussion, I was actually going to bring this up. My first experience with COD was me playing the COD 4 campaign and my friend watching me do it because he was a seasoned COD veteran at that point. And he was getting me into the series, and he was like, "Yeah, like you play it, and I'll just watch." And because COD 4 had
and then you
no
die, and he
split
like
screen.
rips the controllers out of your hand. He's like,
he's like, "You're not supposed to walk that way. You don't go towards the arrow. It's showing you where the grenade is, not where to go." Anyway, like tons of that. But so we sat down and played it, and then my other much more recent, but not too recent memories of that, and I think I brought it up before, is that I have a friend, this is my friend who gave me the Battletoads Double Dragon when we were kids, and he had played a lot of Zelda, but there were quite a few he had never finished, and I had finished all of them that he played. So we did Wind Waker HD when I had my Wii U. We did Wind Waker HD on Hero Mode. So the double damage, no heart drops, and we both kind of took some turns on that one because I was like excited to play it and do the combat with the Dark Nuts and stuff, and we finished that. Then I watched him play the entirety of Majora's and Ocarina, and it's funny because I actually remember him being the kid who had Ocarina and I didn't, but he apparently never beat it. I got it later and then beat it, but anyway, it was actually like a lot of it was, some of it was during high school, but a lot of it I think was during college, and it was when we would both be home for breaks. It was always like a, yo man, like come on over, and he'd come over and stay late as fuck. I mean like 2-3 in the morning, and we would turn the volume down, don't wake anybody up type of stuff.
And then the fucking redead scream, like, oh shit.
turn it down. Yeah, totally. And we would play Ocarina and Majora's and I believe also Wind Waker throughout that time, and I would just watch him because I had beaten the games already, and this was his playthrough, but I have just phenomenal memories doing that, and I'm like, you know what, this is fine. Like, I'm so down to just watch you play games. And I would watch my my college roommates. They would play a lot of Rocket League together, and I loved watching them play it. And I was like, because they're pretty good at it, and I'm like, yeah, this looks really hard. I don't want to play it. It's
like I still remember when I was very young. I think it was like when the first Kingdom Hearts game was out. And I remember, like, the only other kid on my street who even had the game, he, like, because we were talking about it, and again, like, I mentioned this way early on. I think it was, like, our first episode, where, like, I was a really dumb kid. I didn't understand how save states worked, because it just came off the Genesis, pretty much.
Right.
So, like,
just
I would
how saving
replaying
worked
the intro
in general.
of games. I would just keep replaying the intro of games, I wouldn't know that I had to fucking save.
Right.
But, it's like, so... I never got far in the original Kingdom Hearts from my PlayStation 2 broke. I think I got to the Agrabah. I think I got to Agrabah or whatever. Or maybe Monstra. I don't remember. Anyway, I still remember in the intro segment of Kingdom Hearts, when you're like the little dream sequence, the dive to the heart, as the cool kids call it. When you fight Darkseid for the first time, you can actually lose that fight. And
Right.
I remember the first time I did it, and every subsequent time, I'd always win. And my
Right.
one friend couldn't beat it, and he was like convinced that you were supposed to lose that fight, and I was like, no, no, you got it. And so like I still remember going over his house and like showing him how to do it and everything. And
Right.
yeah, I still like it was moments like that, and like I remember, like so many games. I was introduced to so many games I would later buy just from like watching another friend play. Like the first Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
I
neat.
was over at a
Yeah.
friend's house and he was like, "Hey, check this game out. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but you got swords instead." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then
It's a
like
funny way to describe it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like the first time I played Super Smash Bros. Melee was over at a friend's house, and then I went out and bought it for
Oh,
myself.
yeah. I've got
And then-
some for that, but
yeah.
keep going.
And then, oh, obviously, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4.
Of course.
Oh, that shit. Dude, Alcatraz, fucking all the time. All the time at a friend's house, and then I eventually got it for myself. That game was so good.
Yeah, totally. So, I have some good memories with skateboarding games too. So I was not much of a skater kid, but I had some friends that were, and so they played more of the Tony
You weren't a
Hawks.
skater
so,
boy?
No, I
No
was
one
not.
said see you later, boy?
Yeah, no. I had some friends that were more into skating, and so for me, the Tony Hawk games are like totally that, whereas
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever owned any of them. But I would always, my friends would always play them, and I would watch them play it. And then we had this one friend who, he was kind of a rich kid, and he had, I believe it was called Skate, where it was the game that came with like a
with the
skateboard
wig.
that you put on your floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. You look back, that game has like a 40 on Metacritic or something.
Yeah,
It's like
there's
a lot of
so
people
many
hate it.
games like that where I'm like, yo, this game is awesome, and I look back and I'm like, why's it got a 3 out of 10?
Yeah. So
I was like, are these
but
people smoking something? What?
Melee though. So two other folks that I have a lot of memories playing games with that I kind of forgot about were my next door neighbors growing up. They were Catholic school kids. Fun fact. And I was a public school kid.
Yeah.
It's a very, very Philly area thing. And there's a lot of Irish Catholics where we grew up. So, anyway, one of them was the grade above me. One of them was the grade below me. So I was like, we like literally had like the perfect like trio of young boys playing games. Yeah. But anyway,
and then you had that meme where it's like what is it? If we win, we go out drinking. If they win, we get baptized.
Yeah, basically. So I was the public school derelict, and they were the good Catholic kids. And by the time we hit high school, I remember seeing them come home wearing like a dress shirt and a tie, and I'm wearing a fucking Mario shirt and shorts, and I'm like, I think we're a little different here, guys. But
no,
anyway,
then you said you guys gotta put that shit on.
So yeah, no school uniforms for me, but. Anyway, they had a GameCube. I had a GameCube. They got Melee before I did. So the first time that I ever played Melee was in their basement. And I remember, like, I really want to do a video about Smash Melee, but I don't know how to make it not 5 hours long.
Hey, man, I did a Trails ranking video that's an hour long. And the whole reason I made it spoiler-free was, or one of the big reasons I made it spoiler-free is because if I made it spoiler filled, it would have been 3 hours long.
Yeah, exactly. And so Melee is one of the most important games in my entire life because I was so young when they had it. I was like 6 or something, right? And so all those franchises, I have to remember the first time I saw them ever was Melee. I had no idea who Ness was. I didn't know who Samus was.
The first time I learned about Legend of Zelda was through Melee.
Yeah. I think I had
and I was
Wind Waker
spoiled
before,
on the Sheik reveal from the Melee intro.
Yeah, I think I had Wind Waker, but think about that. I had Wind Waker. I did not know that Link was like not Toon Link.
Yeah.
My first impression of Link is that he's
what's this semi-realistic looking Link?
Right, and like who is young Link? Like I didn't know that he's based off of Ocarina, right? But or Ocarina and Majora's, I guess. But anyway. I didn't know any of that stuff, so that was introduced to me. Obviously, I had no idea who the fucking ice climbers were. All that stuff was introduced to me through Melee, and all that music and stuff. I mean, the Melee soundtrack is just so.
Well, not even just like the even like the ones from the games and stuff. Like doing the story mode, like the mission mode or whatever in Melee.
Yeah.
The Zelda 2 dungeon theme, or like the Metroid theme.
Dude, the Temple remix is unreal.
Oh,
yes,
God.
the Zelda 2 Temple remix. Yeah, and Brinstar's got a great remix. You know, that's the first time I heard all that stuff, and it's like,
and the one that is always misnamed by people from Earthbound. But the people are like, it's this song, but it's not actually that song. It's a different song from Earthbound. The one that plays at the town. Fuck.
Onet.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's like, people are like, it's called Being Friends, but it's actually not. It's actually something else. Being Friends is a different song.
I just call it the Onet theme.
Yeah.
I'm not a nerd, all right?
Yeah,
so.
I'm not a Mother fan.
I played
Neither is Reggie, apparently, because they're never bringing that shit over. Mother 3 over.
I played about half of Earthbound on the Wii U when I had it, and I really liked it. I just never finished it, and obviously I have the Switch Online with the SNES, and so I should fire it back up because I actually really. Yes, it is. Okay, Earthbound 0.
Just Mother 1 is not on there. All right, or Mother 3, sorry, is not on there. Cool.
Right. Yeah, and no, Earthbound. It's called like Earthbound Beginnings, I think, is like the official Nintendo release. But also, I mean, dog. The retro game store that I go to, he always has like sitting in the case like an NES cartridge of Mother 1, and I'm like, nice. Like,
God, how expensive is that shit?
He's charging only like $40 for it, I think. I'm like, no. It's not a Famicom, like it's a fan translated, like it's a homebrew.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's an NES cartridge of Mother 1. And I'm like, I should pick that up.
Yeah,
play as good old Nintendo. Play as Nintendo. I know the lore. Yeah, that his name is Nintendo.
I still think Nintendo, Ness, and then Lucas.
Yeah. But I Earthbound has obviously, like, the setting is really neat and everything because it's not high fantasy, and a lot of RPGs, were high fantasy back then. But what I love about Earthbound, and I mean, look, another person praising Earthbound on the internet. Like, shut the fuck up. But anyway.
Yeah, another retro gamer.
I think that
praising Earthbound. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that the combat in that game is some of the most fun RPG. Yeah, like, and for as fun as like as menu combat can be, they make that really good. Yes, the scrolling is a brilliant idea, and I had a lot of fun with that. I remember, and of course, like the battle theme, like being a remix of Tequila, like I'm down. Right,
it's like I haven't played Earthbound or any other game, and I don't know if I will ever, because I have a weird thing with the art style, where I was like fucking scarred from like an RPG Maker game when I was little, or when I was younger.
Oh.
And it had like a similar art style to Earthbound. I was like,
yeah.
But yeah, like a very petty reason, but I'm just also not that interested. But the things like that, like I think that's how you can like. I am firmly of the belief that it is easier to make a boring action game than it is to make a boring turn-based game, because like even like a standard turn-based game is just a standard turn-based game. It's not, you're not going to sit there and be like yawn like if you like turn-based games, you're probably like, I played the original Dragon Quest and recently beat Dragon Quest 2.
I was gonna say like Final Fantasy 1, like that's just like a standard turn-based game. Yeah,
and like the original Dragon Quest, like Dragon Quest 2, like Dragon Quest 2 added party members. Dragon Quest 1 didn't have that. But like even then, it's like you're not using all your stuff. Like you're attacking with like, for most of the time you're just spamming attack, and then you're healing occasionally, and then maybe you'll do like defense up and defense down for like the final bosses and whatever.
Right.
But like, so like, but it's not like, I wouldn't sit there and say like, oh, this is awful. Like I was like, okay, yeah, it's pretty fun for the time and everything. Like I enjoyed it. But like with an action game, you can very easily like you can very easily be like, this shit is rank. But like
I hear you.
But like, anyway, the point I was trying to make was that with a turn-based game, like spicing up, like the ways that developers like spice up turn-based systems is so cool. Like SMT has the press turn system.
I love the press turn system.
Yeah, press turn
system that shit.
Awesome. Yeah. Final Fantasy had the ATB system until they got rid of that.
And the first time I ever experienced ATB was in Chrono Trigger, and I remember.
Oh yeah, I forgot that had ATB as well.
I had emulated like Final Fantasy 1 when I was a kid, and I was like, okay, RPG, got it, whatever. Then the first time I played Chrono Trigger and I saw active turn battle, and I was like, oh my god, it's incredible. Like.
Yeah, and then like Trails is like the AT system, and you got like all this different stuff, right? And I always think it's like super interesting how they like, because it's not too different. Like if you're playing Trails, it's not gonna be more. You're not gonna be like, oh, this is a completely fucking different game from like S&T, right? But you have those different systems where you got to think about different things. You got to think about elemental weaknesses in S&T and like how you can manipulate the turn order that way. And Trails, you got to think about your fucking positioning and how you can just completely like manipulate the turn order in order to like get bonuses and all that. So like I always just think it's cool shit, and Earthbound's like scrolling system is so cool. Yeah, press turn. That's why I honestly think you should try a Metaphor, because it uses it.
Nice.
It uses press turn. Yeah, it uses press turn. It's not. It's funny. Funnily enough, I played it maybe like a month or so after I played Nocturne, which was my first like mainline S&T game. So it was my first time like with the press turn system. Yeah. And playing Metaphor, I was just like, oh, it's like a watered down like, because like Nocturne's not difficult. I don't think it's a difficult game. It's got difficult parts, but it's not a difficult game. Yeah. But like there are like moments where like this is some. I'm not a gamer. Yeah, so, this is some like a bullshit like some moments like that, especially with the like demon eye or whatever moves, where like the enemy has the boss has like one more turn left, and it's like now he's got 4. Yeah, and you're like, what absolutely. The fuck? And I was thinking that like with Metaphor, like I did struggle with some stuff, but I was like, it's kind of like it's like an easier Nocturne really. And then like you get to like the final bosses and stuff, and they're spamming those types of moves, and you're like legitimately like the final boss like did that move one time, and I was like, he's got 6 turns now. This is fucking ridiculous.
Absolutely. Well, I think that we're at a good place to wrap it up. Yeah. I also have to pee really bad, so. Okay. But I'm down to still hang out with you, by the way. Oh yeah. Like I'm down to still chit chat if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our nostalgic discussion. I know if you came over from one of our channels, you might be surprised at how long we could talk about Call of Duty, but, maybe our trips down memory lane made you think of some good nostalgic memories yourself. So, anyways, you got any parting words?
Just if you're watching this and you want to put down a comment, talk about your own memories, we'd love to read it and everything. It's always interesting to hear that kind of stuff. That. Yeah. And if you want to talk about how my opinion on Black Ops 2's campaign is incorrect, go ahead. But you're going to be wrong. Just heads up, you're wrong. It sucks.
Next episode, we scream at each other for an hour about Black Ops 2's campaign.
Just kidding. The title and thumbnail, this should just be "It's Dookie and Black Ops 2." Sorry.
Yeah. No, but anyway. We will see you guys next month. Obviously, there will be some segments and everything, this, that, and the other. But until then.